Hello again. Welcome to Whining with Kevin. I am your host, Kevin Halmanack, and I am very excited today. This is a weekly talk show where I invite a friend over to join me on my patio for a adult beverage and some chit-chat. Today we have, let's see, where do I even start? We have a
Your best
friend?
Come on.
Best friend,
We
certainly.
can start with best friend.
Best friend,
Grew up in Chicago.
oldest friend. Among some of the highlights, let's see, he was a longtime member, lead guitarist, co-songwriter of the band Filter. He's toured around the world more than a few times. He's shared the stage with many of rock's top musicians. We're going to pause for a moment while this lovely train goes by my house, as it does every hour. He has multi-platinum selling records.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also has done work on that airplane going overhead.
I was a mechanic on that actual airplane.
Many feature films, to name a few: I, Frankenstein, Peppermint. What am I missing? Underworld. You got the talk show going. Sharknado.
Sharknado, yes. I did a few of the Sharknado films with Anthony Ferrante.
Cool.
Yeah, there's. I don't know.
So this is Gino Leonardo, certainly my oldest and best friend. Came in all the way from California. It's just a pleasure to have him on, and I know among our Facebook people, you're all going to know him and recognize him, and hopefully we'll learn a little bit more about him today.
We also, though, I gotta say this. So we're old and best friends, but we're part of a club. We're part of we've got the Four Musketeers. So Jim Houston is involved in this, and as is Charles Kennedy. And we all grew up together here in Park Ridge. I'm sitting in Park Ridge after 3 years of being away from Chicago.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable. I've been out in California, and it's nice to be back. It's definitely different during the time of COVID, but it's lovely to be here, and it's great to see Kevin. And yeah, we'll bring you more.
Yeah, and you know, as the name suggests, Whining with Kevin, typically we would be having a bottle of wine, but so far, this is our third episode, we have yet to open a bottle of wine. And today...
Oh yeah, Josh started with whiskey.
We did whiskey, and today we're going to be trying some beer. So I selected one of Gino's favorites, Chimay, a Belgium ale, made by Trappist monks. I don't know what they trap, but they make good beer. So we're going to pour a little of this and see how we like it. You have any stories about drinking Chimay, Gino?
Yeah, when we were running around the bars in Chicago when we were young kids, we found Chimay, and then we realized that there's 3 different levels of Chimay. So, and it has to do with the alcohol content, but definitely the flavor. They get kind of darker, not quite a stout,
No.
but it's a brown ale of sorts. That
And we're going to start with their premier level. This is 7% alcohol, and then
yeah, they kind of go crazy, and it gets up to and then something after that is Delirium Tremens, the one with the little elephant on it.
I decided to stay away from that one.
Yeah. Normally, if I'm having a beer, I'm sorry to say it, but I just drink a Bud Light. I'm trying to, keep my sightly figure.
Well, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man.
Thanks for hanging out.
It's lovely to see you. Cheers everyone.
I think we started drinking Chimay at the Matchbox, I want to say.
Yeah, the Matchbox is amazing.
Yeah, they sold it.
They sold it? What?
Sold it. Well,
a lot of things have changed. I drove around last night in the city. I'm staying down with a friend around Margie's Candies, we're talking Armitage and Westtown. Yeah, it's like Bucktown, Wicker Park area. And there's a lot of stuff that's shifted, obviously. Everybody's mutating.
Yeah.
Adapting.
Certainly changing more than ever these days.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is get into about 5 different categories. Why don't we start? I like to usually start with kind of your background, your passions. Obviously, it's music is one of the biggest ones.
Like a microbiome?
Yeah, maybe how you got. I know the story, but certainly I think it'd be interesting to learn how you got
I
started.
started as a gentleman farmer in Fallbrook with my lovely wife, Tricia. But then I went into the rock world. In a world. In a world.
No, we're.
We got a Blackhawk now. We got a Blackhawk.
But I
No,
remember when you started in music, or when
Well,
you started playing music.
Let me tell them this. Okay, so I'm endorsed by Fender Guitars, but my first Fender guitar was bought when Guitar Center was down on Milwaukee Avenue here in Chicago. And I had been spying this cool black guitar for ages. I mean, I gotta tell you, I was just dying for it. My mom took me to Biasco Music on Belmont and got me this shitty little Kramer Striker guitar. Thing had the worst intonation, and there's nothing worse for a beginning player to start out with a shitty instrument because it doesn't stay in tune, so you think that's your fault. You don't know that that's the actual instrument's fault because you don't know what intonation is. But so as I grew and I started playing, and I learned "Feeling Gravity Pull" by REM on the Kramer. But a few Cure songs, jumping someone else's train and all that. I really wanted this Fender guitar. So Kev and I painted his mom's office, Joan. And all of a sudden I got this check. It's probably like a $200 job, maybe. Maybe. It's pretty shady. But she gave me a $600 check to take down to, that I cashed and I took down to the Guitar Center on Milwaukee Avenue, right down the street here. There's another plane going over there. And I got my first Fender Stratocaster. And that guitar changed my life. And I played it all the way through ChemLab. And then I got a freaking endorsement from Fender, and I got new guitars when I got into Filter. But yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, my mom gave me my first guitar. But I come from a family of very serious professionals. My dad was a doctor, my mom was an RN, my two brothers are doctors. One of them is actually a fine musician. Michael is a really good musician. But the thing is, music wasn't really the vocation in the household. So I had an uphill battle trying to get there with that, and Kev's mom helped out by helping me get my first Fender Stratocaster, and I still have it. It's actually sitting out in my car.
Is it sitting in the car?
It is. Yeah, because I'm here in Chicago clearing out my storage space, and it's like a museum of my whole life. So it's perfect that we're doing this because I have so many enlightened ideas and memories about past events that we've shared. I've shared my whole life with Kevin. So
yeah, there's nothing we haven't done together. I'll tell you that.
Hey, wait.
Take it easy.
Take it easy over there, guy.
Well, moving on. Actually, you mentioned her name, but usually a category we like to talk about is love and relationships a little bit. We touch on it.
Oh,
you've had a few, and now you're. And now I think.
Kev, what a great host!
Yeah. But what do you think? What do you think the success, the keys to that situation are?
Well, I think it's humility and it's love. I mean, I'm my relationship with Trish now, like on the farm, we run a 4-acre farm. We got 30 animals. There's a recording studio there, but we also have to take care of 4 Airbnbs. There's a lot of we get up and we kiss, and then we have an action plan. We sit down, have coffee together. She makes amazing bullet coffee.
Yeah, I've had.
And then we sit down and we literally, sometimes it's so complicated I have to write it out on a little big post-it note thing, and we make an action plan for the day. And then when that gets done, usually people check out by noon, and then we have new people coming in at 2. So we need to turn things over, and it got really sketchy. Last year, obviously, people were not doing Airbnb, but it's come back, and it's just about respect and love and admiration. She's such an amazing businesswoman, and first of all, she's gorgeous, but she's gorgeous on multiple levels, and she just, she has the candle company. She says that it's ours, but it's really hers, and I work for it. And she's a creative, her fine art photography is really amazing, and she's about to head out, out to Montana and out to Texas to go to her friends to shoot wild mustangs. And then those pictures get translated into a really neat medium, which is stainless steel. It's huge. I'm trying to give you perspective. Huge. Like my forehead.
Huge. Like my head.
Vogue. So these huge stainless steel things, it's kind of like this acid wash process that the guy does. And so these beautiful horses in motion are caught on the stainless steel, and it just creates a really
dramatic effect.
Yeah,
sure.
Dramatic, ethereal. It's beautiful.
Well, you guys have a lot of irons in the fire. I mean, business-wise, you got your own project that you're just starting up as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm doing. I'm in the new Cyberpunk 2077 game with a rapper from Austin by the name of Zeely.
Cyberpunk is the name of the game?
Cyberpunk 2077 is the name. And
What's the game about?
The game is basically very Blade Runner-ish, but it's very unique in that the decisions you make in the game change the outcome. Now, this is not the newest thing, but it's taken them. I've worked on the game for about 2 years, but you can have different end lines. They're doing this a lot now. It's kind of a thing, like where you define the story that you're involved in.
So if you start over and you make a different decision, it'll lead you to a different path, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a different timeline every time you basically play the game, and you can choose. It's very, very intricate in that you can choose your own, skin tone, your type, your tattoos on your body. Everything is like very highly detailed. It's the company CD Projekt Red who made the game The Witcher, which is an award-winning game. And this is their latest and greatest. Keanu Reeves is in the game. He's a character in the game, and announced it at the last E3. And it's just a really intense, submersive gaming experience.
Is this game out on the market yet?
Not yet. No. It's just launching.
Oh, okay.
Just coming out. This is like the cutting edge stuff. So I'm doing that. So I'm working on the gaming, but also I do licensing for film and television, and I do composing for film. I'm doing a documentary and the kind of like the theme of Discovery Channel, Animal Planet kind of thing for Valdemir, which is a whale that is caught in. Oh, thank you, airplane. So Valdemir, spelled with an H.
It's the name of a whale?
It's the name of a beluga whale that is caught in the bay in Hammerfest in Norway. It's not in Oslo, but my friend lives in Oslo, a filmmaker that I scored a film called Teenage Dirtbag for, Regina Crosby. She asked me to score this film, and it's an amazing story. They pulled in some conservatives who are asking the Norwegian government to make the first whale sanctuary in the harbor of Hammerfest. So it's going to be a really interesting project because the film is part of that. Like we already did the pre-concept of the film and the original trailer, but the whole idea of doing the film is to get the conservatory built, and this is tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
stuff going on. So the film is a small piece of it, but I'm very proud to be the composer on that film and learning Nordic instruments like the Nigla Harpas, which I never knew of. It's actually a Scandinavian, which is a conglomerate of all those states up there. But I look for interesting projects like that. I love doing all the rock stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm still into all that. Lucas Rossi and I are going to be writing in about 2 weeks. He's the winner of Rockstar Supernova, who I sang with, or he sang, and I played it on Shiprock last February 1st to the 6th. That was the last performance I've ever given. I hope it's not my last.
No, it won't be your last. Far from it. And then you also you have a company that you've created, right?
Mm-hmm.
To help young artists or different artists.
It's called Our House Music, and essentially what it is, it's not a record label. I want to point that out first. What it is, it's a collective of artists who. So when the pandemic hit, I had 4 films in the works. All of them went away. Even one of them, a children's film that I finished, they didn't pay me the second half of my fee. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, okay, I'll work in the Amazon warehouse. But instead of doing that, I created my own company. I just went to LegalZoom and I created Our House Music LLC. And what it is I'm taking all the singers and rappers, female, male, across multiple genres, and I've created a site which is not up yet, but it's mainly built for music supervisors and music editors and directors, where they can go and shop for music with singers that I've worked with. Now this includes everybody from Zealy down in Austin doing rap stuff. I've got Emily Armstrong from Dead Sarah doing stuff. I've got just multiple MJ Ultra doing neo soul kind of vibe. So there's multiple genres, and they can go and you can shop by key, tempo, mood, genre, and length. So it's a one-stop shop for multiple genres. So a game company says, I need upbeat metal or whatever, or I need downbeat, or I need just straight up hip hop.
Is it a medium where a game company would go to and then look on the site, or is
Absolutely, yeah. There will be an artist gallery where you can look through the artists, but the main thing is the genre gallery.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to deal with, like, if you're a music editor, you've got an idea that I need a hip hop track at 29.5 seconds. That's, boom, you put that in the search bar, all the metadata that we've put on, all the tagging that we've done throws up a playlist. Just comes up as a playlist.
Yeah.
Right now we're working with SoundCloud, but it might change to a different format as far as the on-site media thing. And then also the 2 other points of difference, which are huge on this, is that you can request a license. If you hear something, like I've got a cover of Barracuda that I did with Brian from Lakeshore and Melanie from Royal Thunder singing, you can request that license immediately. And then it runs through my publisher and all this stuff, and it's just a cleaner way to shop for music because, as we all know, we've all been streaming a lot of content. If you have Disney Plus or you've got Hulu, obviously Netflix is the big boy of the game. But I mean, HBO Max is amazing. The new show Raised by Wolves that Ridley Scott, did the Alien movies and Prometheus and all that. That's a great show. All those things, all that content needs musical content, which I think gives hope to musicians. We're not going to be able to play live for a very long time.
Yeah.
Andrew King's a good friend of mine from Live Nation, and his prediction is 2022. And I shouldn't say that's his, solely, and whatever. Don't quote me. I'm just telling you some shit.
What about the Charlies on Lollapalooza?
I don't know if that's going to come back until 2022 either. I haven't talked to, you mean the guys from C3?
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him in ages, and but they're all, you can believe me, they go into work every day trying to figure out how we're going to get live music back. It's tough. I mean, it's, and I've done a few, like streaming kind of things. It's not really the same. It's being on a stage with someone, it's a tough.
Imagine if we had a live audience right now.
Yeah, we do. There's some daffodils over here.
You will see my
and some
neighbors.
Evergreens, it's like down here. You can't see them, but I can see them. Oh, wait, a flock of sparrows.
If anybody wants,
and we've got airplanes.
We do have fans up in the sky.
Yeah, they're doing big metal from the United flight.
Certainly, if anyone wants to be a fan of the show or sit in with us, you can sit on the small patch of grass every Wednesday around 3:30ish. Let us know.
I'll be back taking care of llamas, but I'm here till Monday.
If somebody wants to
get here sooner, that'd be great.
If somebody wanted to get involved with the website, what is it again?
Our House Music LLC. It's not up yet though. It's.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
You caught me like we just got the.
Yeah.
We just literally.
The licensing.
And for any new business creators, LegalZoom is pretty good. If you just want a basic LLC, LegalZoom is, I just got to say, it doesn't have to be music.
You've used it a couple times.
I have. And it's, especially now when, you know, we don't have the same resources that we had to like go call a lawyer and say, hey, start this. You know, I used to call my guy David and be like, hey, I need an LLC, and he would do it, and then I'd get this huge frickin' bill, and I'd be like, wait a second,
Yeah.
God, dude, really, you killing me?
Unbelievable.
They'd redline. I got a bill for 10 grand. They like redlined like the ands and the thes out of a simple LLC agreement. If you go to LegalZoom, not that I'm like, you know, doing a commercial for LegalZoom, although I kind of am. They do a great job, and it's pretty efficient. And you can pick whatever state you know you want and do it. Just start your own business. You know, like counteract the negativity of what's going on.
Yeah.
Start your own business. Do it right now in the middle of a pandemic.
Well, speaking of businesses, I'd like to take this moment to talk about our sponsor, Frank's Bar, located in Lincoln Park, 2503 North Clark, serving all your libation needs. If you don't have, he doesn't have Chimay, certainly he has a lot of other variety of options for you. He is open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. That goes to 5 a.m. on Saturdays. After this pandemic is over, or we get through it,
Wait, let's talk about that.
you'll find
Only in Chicago can you go to a bar on Saturday night and stay till 5 in the morning.
Yeah, you can start at 11 a.m. on Saturday and stay until 5 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah, that did wonders for my first marriage.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So we have a lot of stories from there, but we don't need to talk about those right now. Why don't you tell the folks how? I know I mentioned it in the introduction how one of my oldest friends, but why don't you tell them really how our friendship developed and maybe highlights or lowlights, whatever.
Kevin shot me with a BB gun.
I think you did
When
hit
I
me
was
with a BB gun.
No, I broke your ankle with a
You did.
baseball. No, we met. You know, so we're here in Park Ridge, okay, and are we over the line?
We're just over the line. We're in
just
Edison
over the
Park.
line. You know, we're
I
in
couldn't
Edison
afford Park Ridge. I have to live in Edison Park. Only married people get to live in Park Ridge.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all our high school friends are still there.
Yeah, they are.
So anyway, we had gone to grade school together in Mary Seat of Wisdom, and
8 years.
we met our other two cohorts, compadres, Charles Kennedy and Jim Houston.
Well, you three all lived within a couple doors of each other.
Yeah, I was on the south. I was like on the south end of Park Ridge, which is on Granville Street and near Cumberland, Western Cumberland. I mean, we were on Western Avenue essentially in Granville. So yeah, that area, you know, when they put the Blue Line in, which is, you know, so we're close to O'Hare Airport, as you can tell from the whole thing. It was very for professionals that work downtown. It was people wanted to buy those homes, like so they could take their train down in the city. But back when my dad did it, there was only 2 homes on that thing. They bought like an open lot. My dad is a physician. He worked at Swedish Covenant Hospital here in Chicago, and then from there he went to Resurrection Hospital, which is now changed over to some other megacorp hospital.com. But my dad served in World War II. He was in the Air Force, as did my uncle. He was in the Navy. And they all settled in that kind of area, like on Montrose, where basically where I ended up going back to. Like my apartment was on Lincoln and Montrose. Yeah, but they were down the street, and it was just a thing. My dad and my mom, Elizabeth O'Leary, and my dad's name is Guido, and he's not a killer pimp, but he was a pimp as a father. He was amazing. We had 7 kids. I'm the youngest. And so basically what happened is I grew up there. We went to Mary Seat of Wisdom.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so then when high school came up, it was a little bit different story. So my dad wanted me to go to private school over in Indiana. He's like, get the hell out of the house, kid. Can't stand you. You're like 10 years old. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, I was. But anyway, so I went to La Lumiere, which is in LaPorte, Indiana, and we would take the train from downtown and like come back on the weekends and stuff. I did that for 2 years because I was very interested in sports, I lettered both years on the football team and wrestled and pole vaulted and did the relay stuff. And then I got the music bug. I have a good friend of mine, Doug Spinuzza, who's been in a lot of movies.
Your next door neighbor?
Next door neighbor, actually, in Park Ridge, yeah. Doug Spinuzza was in The Negotiator.
Yeah.
And he was in Alligator, a bunch of great
He's
films.
been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but back at that time, he was going to the Chicago Academy for the Arts, which is the Chicago Fame School. So it was a very interesting thing down on Adams and the Expressway, right
Behind St. Pat's.
the old St. Pat's, yeah. So that's how it kind of transformed. But even though I went there, I was still going to the proms and all the crap in Maine South.
Well, and I had
that
spent,
Charlie and Jimmy,
I had spent 2 years at Loyola Academy, and then
Yeah.
when you transferred, I transferred to Maine South at that time. And
Yeah.
certainly hanging in the summertime, hanging with all the Maine South people, we were already
we were already in that
enveloped
kind of
in that
like social
lifestyle.
group. Yeah. So that was a really cool time, and I remember some of the records we got early on. It was like In Excess, The Swing.
over at Rolling Stone Records, which is still there.
Rolling Stone Records over by the hip.
Yeah.
Harlem Irving Plaza. By the way, if you're a
Unbelievable,
gamer, we were way ahead of you guys. We were at Aladdin's Castle at the Harlem and Irving Plaza before any of you cats.
I don't know
I
how
was
many-
killing asteroids and Scramble before any of you.
How many quarters do you think passed through your fingers?
Oh my God.
Probably a million. Probably
Yeah.
a million quarters.
Yeah. Actually, I got the. Okay, so there was a 7-Eleven
Yeah.
that was over.
On
Okay,
Divine.
so even when we were in grade school, we would go. We thought we were the cool kids. We'd go to the 7-Eleven in Park Ridge and we'd get hot chocolates and
For lunch.
all sorts of all sorts of crappy sugary food. And Scramble was the game that was in there. And I nailed that sucker. I got through it. I was one of the only dudes, and I was like the king of nowhere. I was the king of 7-Eleven.
Oh boy.
But no, those are good times. I mean, we grew up pretty well, and and the good thing is that we had friendship. We had Charlie and Jimmy and Kevin and I. We were the Four Musketeers. We BMX'd. We did everything. We listened to music and stuff and
Concerts.
Oh, do we want to talk about the
I don't know
concerts
about
at Poplar Creek?
I don't know about those.
When we got older and Kevin got this old BMW, I got an interesting story.
I tried to beat my record deal.
Yeah. Driving back from a concert, but we went to concerts together.
Well, and for as crazy as some of the things that we did, we were always pretty conservatively crazy. I say that in the sense that we did take some precautions.
And I think we should bring up Galena, because Galena was a bonding thing for all four of us. Charlie's family had a couple townhomes in Galena, and we would go up there. And I was just learning how to record, so I would go rent 4-track recorders like a Fostex X15, and later I got to 8-track. I was like the Beatles, finally getting an 8-track.
Yeah.
But I would have all my instruments, and these guys would graciously bring them in the car. Remember that?
We loaded 2 cars sometimes. The only reason I know it was 2 cars because the one experience we had, I unfortunately had an accident. Me and you were in the car together, and we had to load everything into one car.
Smashed, yeah. It smashed the speakers.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like one of my first recording studios. Like I tried to turn my Park Ridge bedroom into a recording studio, but folks weren't totally down with that. But no, we go to Galena and stuff.
Galena was incredible. It's still a special place every time I go up there. To golf or just to spend a weekend out of the city.
Well, it was a big part of our young lives.
Yeah.
Just to say, I mean, it was like Charlie, Jimmy.
Well, and Charlie's family now they own a large home, so he spends a lot of the holidays up there with his family, extended family. He'll go up there with his boys.
With his kids. Now we got kids.
Yeah. Oh well, your son Gabriel, he's going to be finishing up college this year.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I don't know if I'm surprising you with this news, but Jimmy's moving back here
Oh, really?
with his youngest son, Kevin Charles.
Kevin Charles. You notice there's not a Kevin Charles Gino in there?
Well,
Thanks, Jimbo.
I think he's saving that for his next child.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So he's moving here with his new girlfriend and his youngest son, and they're moving into his folks' house.
Okay.
And I believe Jimmy's going to be involved in real estate when he gets here.
Excellent.
So you'll have to catch up with him. He'll tell you all about it. Well,
so I brought us. Wait, I brought us
yeah.
up to. We haven't even gotten into college. We're fucking around in high school. I go to Lamere for 2 years. Then I go to the Chicago Academy for the Arts for 2 years. Very transformative period for me. I get accepted to Berklee College of Music. Charlie gets accepted to BU. You get accepted in Providence to Johnson Wales. So we're all going to the East Coast.
Yeah. I mean, you and Charlie were only blocks away in Boston, right?
Oh, totally. We used to meet up. Okay, so it was like Mass Ave and I think it was, God, what was, Charlie can tell you the street. I don't know. But there's literally a bar that we met at and we would play cricket.
Not that Father's place, is it?
No, it wasn't a Father's.
Oh.
No.
Nightmare.
But, we were poor at that time and then, we were students, but we'd go play cricket. That was our thing, the dart game, where you do the whole thing. And we helped each other get through that. And then we'd get on the Back Bay train and go down to Providence to see this kid. And yeah, it was. Yale College Pub was the first time I one of those crazy, like,
oh, that was
yards?
That was at the Wickeden Pub.
Oh, the Wickeden
on Wickeden
Pub.
Street in
Okay.
Providence.
Yeah.
Where you drank out of half yards.
Yeah.
Or full yards. If you
Oh,
want.
yeah. And if you didn't do it right, it would shoot you in the face.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I hope that bar's still there. I hope to make. Actually, unfortunately, my fraternity reunion was going to be in Providence this year in October, but with everything going on, I think I'm going to miss that.
It's going to be tough.
I'll have to do my own little tour back there.
Yeah.
Providence
Providence was a fun time. The people with random deer legs, like you're sitting in a diner with the windows and you're sitting in your booth and people hitting the deer leg on the.
You get
Remember that story?
You got a lot of big. Yeah, of course.
Come on.
You get a lot of big. It's Providence.
He's not telling the whole story.
Providence.
I'm opening up. This guy's like, he's all closed off, not telling the shit.
Well, Providence, for being a little tiny state in our union and a little city, is really a huge college town because we had Brown University
Yeah,
on
Brown
the
was
hill,
right there. Yeah, which
which was
stepbrother
incredible.
went to.
Tom Holland actually was playing hockey for Brown University when I was there.
Yep.
And then Rhode Island School of Design.
Oh yeah,
Design school.
RISD's one of the top. A lot of the artists that went to the Chicago Academy for the Arts
Went to
RISD.
RISD?
Yeah.
Their famous alum is Talking Heads. They all graduated from there,
I mean,
among others.
amazing school.
And then we had Providence College. We had my school, Johnson and Wales.
Which is
Johnson and Wales
hotel restaurant management and
for the
your
culinary
industry,
arts.
that was the
Culinary arts
Berklee.
number one. Yeah.
that was the Berklee.
Culinary arts number
yeah.
one for the management side, which I attended. Certainly, one of the top two. Cornell always being number one, being an Ivy League school. But yeah, Johnson and Wales was the best experience of my life, and I could have went to Boston with you guys, but I would have gone a different direction of my career. So I'm really happy I stuck with Johnson and Wales. And you guys came down to see me a lot more than I went to Boston.
Absolutely, and it was great. I mean, there was a lot of great experience. Charlie went to BU and lived in the Trident his freshman year until he got all fancy. And, lived in a brownstone, frickin' down the street. But him and I, like, and you were definitely part of it. Even though we were there in the city, though, like coming to see you was like a big part of our society.
It was a good release for you guys.
Yeah, well, just seeing different
Yeah.
stuff and like, getting out and like, because I mean the class loads were heavy. I was in the engineering school and Charlie definitely no slacker. Everything was like slam.
My school was actually closed on Fridays, so I had it a little easier.
So yeah, we were on the train on Thursday night.
Yeah, you didn't have a heavy class load on Thursday.
So yeah, so that's college. Then we graduated. I had a choice between Ahmet Ertegun, who ran Atlantic Records, and Phil Collins to hand out my
Oh, Diploma. Yeah,
thing.
Phil Collins was your.
That was my choice. I still haven't gotten the picture. Thanks, Berkeley.
Yeah.
No. I called those guys. They send me. You guys send me all this shit about.
Do you owe them tuition
Give me
money?
money.
You probably
give
owe
me
them
money. I'm like, give me my picture. Get my damn thing. So yeah, once we got out of there, I came back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Worked for Ministry at Chicago Tracks.
Yeah.
Well, I worked for Reed Hyams, who owned Chicago Tracks, but Ministry was making Psalm 69, and that's where I met the guys from Chem Lab. I'm just gonna fast forward.
Yeah,
this real quick.
definitely.
And so from 91 to 93, I was at Chicago Tracks, where I met my lovely Trisha. That's the first time we dated.
Did you meet her at Tracks, or didn't we meet her?
No,
at
she had her own shop, like on Halsted, called Jungle Red.
Yeah, resale.
So that's that. Yeah. So that's where we like met, and I would go over there on my lunches. And
you know, but
he would call me up. He's like, "Why are you an hour late for your lunch?" I'm like, "Well, if you saw her, you would know."
No, you know who she was good friends with, who I think we met her through first at Martini Ranch, was Michael Taus.
Oh, Michael Taus.
Michael Taus
Who you
introduced
worked
us.
with.
Yeah, and then I ended up
Okay.
working with Michael Taus at Zealous.
Okay.
Hey, we've switched over to the Chimay Grand Reserve. This is now 9% alcohol, and you can tell it's a darker, deeper color than the other. Cheers.
Darker, deeper color. In a world.
I think I should do a show on airplanes, because every 3 minutes there's a plane.
Yeah, right. American Airlines should be sponsoring this.
To get
So-
into another category, maybe we'll move forward.
Yeah,
a little
let's.
bit.
I was trying to
yeah.
like accelerate and tell how I got. Filter was 96, so that's basically 95, 96.
And how long were you in Filter? Or
7
until it
years,
disbanded?
and we did approximately 1,400 shows in 28 countries. Did
I know.
Leno, Letterman,
Yeah, this doesn't compare to the Leno.
Canal Plus in France. We did Top of the Pops in England
That's
before it ended, which was a major, over there. That's Top of the Pops.
With your career, what do you think was the biggest highlight? I mean, you've certainly done so much, but what would you say would be the biggest highlight?
Oh
of the career,
man, I don't know.
if you could. I mean, Wembley Stadium, opening up with the Pumpkins.
Oh,
That was pretty
wait. Yeah, I got a good one from. Okay, so we on the Melancholy and Infinite Sadness tour. One of my favorite shows was in Chase or Cascais. How do they say it in Portugal?
Oh, I don't know.
So we played a bull ring. And it was a magical show for Filter, but that was one of the best Smashing Pumpkins shows I've ever seen.
Really?
And then it started to rain. They were playing Porcelina, and it just started to rain. And I'm standing on the side of the stage going, wow, how did my life end up in this magical fucking place? That tour that Filter did with the Pumpkins, and we were super babies. Like that was like our first like major, and then we're thrust over to Europe. So we're playing in all these crazy, amazing, venues and stuff. Ended up in Wembley Arena, but that show, I think, in the bull ring, was
The best. Did they release the bull?
There were no bulls. There were no animals harmed in
Release
that
the
show.
bull. I gotta say one of my highlights. I've traveled with you on the bus, and I've seen hundreds of shows. But I think one of my highlights was when you invited me to the Experience Music Project in Seattle.
Yep.
That was Bill Gates' partner. What was his name?
Oh
Bill Gates'
God, I fucking.
His business partner created.
I was thinking about Frank Gehry, who designed it.
Yeah.
But I forgot.
I'll think of it in a minute. But he created this museum and put a 3-day concert with multiple bands.
Yeah. We
And you
played
guys-
with Kid Rock and Metallica.
Yeah,
and all that stuff. And
But you invited me out
Red
there.
Hot Chili
and that
Peppers.
was
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
They drove us around in like the old Bentley.
I swear to God, did you strip me of my phone? Here we go. It was.
When all else fails, you Google it.
I know, and I actually played it. I should know the guy that got the crazy Rolls Royce. Remember the white Rolls
Yeah,
Royce?
they drove us around.
They drove us around in these vintage Rolls Royce things that you'd see in the Crown right now. Like,
And then the wrap-up party, which we went to, was at a place called Sit and Spin or something like that had it was a laundromat with
There's
a
a
back
laundry
room.
And Robbie Robertson was there.
Robbie Robertson, Dan
Dan
Aykroyd was
Aykroyd.
MC, Beck and Gina Gershon were hanging out
Yep.
behind us. I'm like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, it was.
That weekend was amazing, though. Thank you, by the way.
Oh,
Great.
hey, man. I was trying to pull you in. I tried to get him to go to Metallica. Okay, so he's working at a restaurant.
No, Guns N' Roses.
Oh, but no, also Metallica.
Oh, yeah.
So it's Soldier Field, and
Oh, is that when I was running Sugar
yeah.
Factory?
So if anybody like wants to go to concerts,
Unbelievable.
this guy doesn't.
I've
And
had
we grew up with Guns N' Roses.
So
I'm-
I've had tickets 3 times to see, or 3 opportunities to see Guns N' Roses. Once, in the early '90s,
I think
something
it's
happened.
Paul Allen.
Paul Allen. That was,
Paul Allen.
So in the early '90s, I had tickets to go see them. Something happened literally a couple days before a riot broke out. Because Axl didn't come on stage, so he canceled the show. So I missed him that time. Then you invited me with backstage opportunity to see him on July 3rd at Soldier Field.
And meet
And
Slash.
I could not leave work. I was running the Sugar Factory, unfortunately.
Are you kidding me? I'm running the Sugar Factory. I would have quit the Sugar Factory to meet Slash.
Yeah, so I'm an idiot. So I missed.
You're not.
So I missed that opportunity. Then this year, I get tickets again to see him at Wrigley Field, July 26th. And then a fucking pandemic happens. I'm like, how much bad luck can I have? I go, I'm not meant to see
I
it.
don't know.
To finish up,
You've gotten to meet a lot of
I have.
motherfuckers.
I have. To finish up, the last question I usually ask, it's kind of a random category, but a question that I like to ask people just in general. If you had the opportunity to have dinner with 3 other people, and those people could be past, present, or future, whoever you'd like. Obviously, family, we all understand, we would all recommend that, but open the table up to 3 people. Who would you invite, and what would the topic of conversation be?
Okay. I'll say, I've got, I just 3, like 9, it came in 3s in my mind. So
good
the
luck.
3 that are, really bugging me.
It's a tough question.
It's
isn't it?
a tough
It seems-
question
it
because you
seems
just
like
give
it's
me
obvious.
3. Can I
Yeah.
do 5? Can
No,
it
we
be a
like
bigger party?
3 for luck. That's what we say.
Okay.
In Italian, you get 3 beans in the sambuca.
All right. I'll do. Let's see. Can we do it by like era?
Any way you want to split it up,
Like,
and then a
no,
topic
like,
of conversation.
so can I do Shakespeare, T.S. Eliot,
Sure, if you want to split it up.
and my mom?
Yeah.
um,
You're all going to talk about the same topic, so how would you envelop
so
all
I
those?
have to make
Perhaps
it
it-
resolute. In the,
Perhaps
in
the
the
topic may help you pick
Give me a
those 3
topic.
people. Well, it's up to you, whatever you like. What would you find interesting about these 3 people that you'd want to talk to?
All right, let's do love. Hardest one of all.
Very
So
good.
we'll do Shakespeare. We'll do my mom. Well, she's got to be part of that.
Yeah.
And then Peter Gabriel. How's that for a
I
wacky?
like it. I like it.
How's that for a wacky twist?
But in addition, what would you order for dinner? For the table. Family style dinner.
Wow, probably something kind of veganish to start. Wow, this is
Tough
this is
question,
good-
right?
That's a good question.
Tough
That's a
question.
good question. Okay, so what would I order for dinner? I would order seafood for the like, you know, the
No
opening,
shrimp, of
the
course,
opening
because-
note. Yeah, I'm allergic to shrimps. So I would do that grilled calamari, maybe to give them that. But then I would probably serve a branzino for a beer.
A whole
you know,
fish, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be amazing. I think
Well,
that,
and fish has the symbolism of Christ and hope and all that kind of stuff. I think Are you asking me something metaphorically, or are you
No,
asking
no,
me
just-
something like practically? Like what
Just,
would I?
you know, it's just
So
a
I just
fun,
said Mom and Peter Gabriel.
yeah, just a fun
Shakespeare
topic.
over.
Yeah, just hanging out. You know, you're like, hey, what's up, Billy?
Hey, what's up, Billy? Nothing comes from nothing. Speak again, so's not some all your fortune.
Well,
That's a good Billy quote.
Yeah, and
Shakes quote.
I think those are three, you know, fun people to be around. I'd love to be at a dinner with those three people.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the great fortune to meet two of the three. You know, obviously my mom, who was a wonderful woman, and then I met Peter Gabriel at the MTV Awards in '96, and he was the most gracious, wonderful guy you could imagine. I was like, "What's going on in real world? Like, can I come record?"